at the end of the day, the having a baby in your arms and feeling that is something, yes, anyone and everyone will go through that.
Psychologically, we have to be fit. We have to undergo so much of procedures and so much of finance, this thing, and social, all the problems we have to undergo. But finally, by seeing the baby, you will forget all the things.
The feeling of warmth, tenderness, a truthful smile, unconditional love. The experience of motherhood is one that most women yearn for. So strong is the desire that it transcends pain and struggle. In today's episode of Healthcare Evangelist of India, we feature GUNASHEELA Surgical and Maternity Hospital, a hospital that understands this special bond of parenthood and brings hope to families.
With all women pursuing their careers and postponing the family, so by the time they plan for a family, they would have approached 40, and that's when the reproductive capacity of a woman starts to decline. So there is definitely a rise in the infertility among the population.
To cater to the medical needs of infertile couples and in some way change the social perception towards infertility, GUNASHEELA Surgical and Maternity Hospital was established in 1975 by Dr. Sulochana GUNASHEELA. With a strong sense of responsibility to bring joy to families, today the hospital is run by Dr. Sulochana's daughter, Dr. Devika GUNASHEELA, and her husband, Dr. Rajshekhar Nayak. The hospital is currently a 60-bedded tertiary care centre specialising in high-risk obstetrics and gynecology.
GUNASHEELA Hospital basically was started about 4 decades ago by Dr. Mavalli and Sulochana GUNASHEELA. Bringing in cutting-edge technology to our country was one of their foremost ideas, having worked in the United Kingdom for several years. And this has continued, and even after their demise, Dr. Devika and myself have been following the same path without diluting the vision of bringing cutting-edge technology to Bangalore, particularly in the areas of infertility and high-risk obstetrics and surgery.
With state-of-the-art IVF and genetic laboratories, over the years GUNASHEELA has become synonymous with infertility solutions and in doing so has kept abreast with latest medical technologies.
In 2000, when I came back from England, there were only 1 or 2 centers in Bangalore. Now, about 17 years hence, there are about maybe 60-70 centers. And so what we start to get, our patient profiles start to change, where we got many more patients who were having problems in the sense that they were having repeated IVF failures. And they were coming to us with after the second failure, after the third failure. So in an attempt to kind of find out what else we could do, what more could we do for these patients, we brought in the embryoscope. The embryos have to follow a set timetable, in its growth pattern. So that timetable, is it being followed or not? And it's a continuous monitoring of the embryos, which was not there until that time that it was introduced. So that helped to increase the pregnancy rate by about 10 to 15%. And then after that, I introduced the pre-implantation genetic screening, which is where we take a biopsy from the embryo. That means we take the cells from an embryo that has grown up to day 5, and then we analyze the genetics of the embryo.
It is this technological advancement and the overall treatment offered at the hospital that has led to an increase in the success rate and has seen successive generations of customers come to GUNASHEELA. Shilpa Satyanarayan was one such case.
We've been trying to have baby kid for the past 19 years and things like that. I got married young, after which I completed my education and started working. And we thought that it'll happen. It didn't happen. And when we came here, it was like word of mouth. And basically, 28 years back, my aunt had a baby here. So when madam was here, that is the first one, Sulochana madam was alive. She was the one who delivered my brother, my cousin brother. Now he's 28 years old.
The entire process was physically, emotionally, and financially very draining for Shilpa and her family.
There were a couple of chances. I lost the first time in 2013. I lost twins. I had conceived and I lost it. Then once again I started my treatment in 14. Then because of my health issues, we couldn't do a transfer of the embryo. Then they had to freeze the embryos. So once again I tried in 15. I had a miscarriage again. So then when I came here in 2015 and in sometime around October, November, she told that they are trying PGS. So people like me with higher risk of these things and higher age and other factors, considering all those factors, she pushed the treatment telling that we are doing a PGS, that is pre-implantation genetic screening.
A medical team that supported her physically and understood her emotionally gave Shilpa the strength to complete her difficult pregnancy, and she soon became mother to a baby girl.
The most enjoyable part is when they conceive and when they say thank you, when they go back with a baby in their hand, when they are smiling.
At the end of the day, at anything, the smile, I look at my daughter, the smile I see on her face, that makes it worth it.
Nowadays, one of the causes that is increasingly adding to health complications is obesity. It also negatively impacts fertility.
Obesity does hinder fertility because the hormones go all haywire. And when you have an obese mother, there's a complication of diabetes in pregnancy, high blood pressure in pregnancy, and diabetes in pregnancy is a situation where it produces a lot of congenital abnormalities in the baby.
Dr. Mohana was one such case of obesity during pregnancy.
I got married in 2010, after which we tried for 1 year. I could not conceive. I had a fibroid uterus with which I had a very heavy bleeding, for which I have taken OC pills, and I had a reaction for the estrogens. My venous incompetence, the lower limb started, and I have put on weight drastically from 90 kgs to 103 over a period of 6 months. Then that's what the step where we decided to go for bariatric surgery.
Bariatric surgery reshapes the stomach, thereby cutting down its capacity. As a result, the patient can eat a small amount of food and yet feel satiated.
I underwent surgery in 2012 May 10th. I underwent the surgery in the same hospital. After 6 months, I lost 40 kgs and I come down to 71. Then I conceived spontaneously.
While an infertility treatment is a difficult time for the entire family, it is the woman who has to be the strongest as the treatment directly impacts her.
All infertility treatments do not end up with a positive result at the end of the day. But what we need to do and what our efforts are that, you have to give your 100%. And it is not only medically, it is also emotional and social support that we give them. And also we have a holistic approach towards the treatment that we give them.
From about 3-4 years, we have got what is called a positive reinforcement therapy. Any patient of ours, especially those who are going through the IVF cycles, definitely, or any other patient who we feel is emotionally disturbed, we make them undergo this procedure, which includes pranayamas, which includes acupressure, which includes diet counseling, which includes yoga. It's like group therapy. They're all having similar problems. So they share all this with each other and say, okay, how are you doing now? How many injections are you taking? Are you doing better? So they counsel each other too.
In the absence of a board of directors, GUNASHEELA Hospital has a free hand towards social causes. Besides being a hospital that medically specializes in infertility treatment, it is an institution that gives back to society in its own special way.
Cancer is now almost a curable condition in majority of the patients, and especially in patients who are looking forward to getting married or having children. It is still a possibility. It is not a dream. It is a real possibility. Gametes can be stored. They can be preserved for any number of years, and then successfully used for them to have their own biological child. What we at GUNASHEELA are doing is that we have a charitable program for these kind of patients where we preserve their gametes free of charge, and then once they have had their chemotherapy or radiation therapy, whatever treatment they have, which can actually sometimes make them sterile, they can then come back, and if their reproductive health is not good, then we can actually use their gametes and then they can have their biological child. And I am proud to say that we are funding this program ourselves without any aid from outside. We are doing this completely free of charge for all cancer patients.
With an IVF success rate of 50 to 60%, GUNASHEELA Surgical and Maternity Hospital has strong medical expertise. This, coupled with a strong desire to help families grow, GUNASHEELA Hospital also has its heart in the right place. In this segment of Healthcare Evangelist of India, we feature a company that is continuously working towards making healthcare and medical services affordable and accessible to the common man. Today, a majority of the population is falling prey to a sedentary lifestyle coupled with an unhealthy diet. 25% Indians are at risk of dying before the age of 70 due to lifestyle diseases such as diabetes, hypertension and cardiovascular ailments. To alter this statistic and inject the Indian population with awareness about the criticality of leading a healthy life, Thyrocare Technologies Limited was founded in 1996. Started as an exclusive thyroid testing lab, Thyrocare is today a leading preventive care diagnostics chain.
One thing about Thyrocare, we deal more with disorders, not with diseases. When I say so, if somebody is struggling with pain, fever or swelling, we generally don't do that business. That is a hospital business. Having said that, we are more into disorders, more into lifestyle disorders, more into metabolic disorders.
Today, Thyrocare has over 1,000 employees and receives 60,000 samples a day from more than 400 cities. However, it had a humble beginning and earnestly worked its way up.
We started as a one-man company. I was the only man. In fact, we do the testing in the night. Many ask me why you chose to do the test in the night. If I have to do marketing as well as testing, I have to do marketing in the day, not in the night. And then I have to do the testing in the night, not in the day. I think God has made sure this man got a formula which is logical.
It is Thyrocare's unique air cargo logistics that ensures samples from across the country to be delivered every night to its centralized processing laboratory in Mumbai for esoteric tests. It is at night that this centralized lab comes alive.
We treat every sample coming through our lab as a part of a human being. So we have to ensure that that is processed and reported within time. So we ensure that all analyzers and connectivity is in place to report the samples in time.
An undeterred focus on volume and quality resulted in Thyrocare possessing Asia's first and the world's longest total laboratory automation.
In our organization, A to Z, for everything we have automation. It's completely automated system. Start from the pre-analytical area to analytical area and post-analytical area. These are all the three major divisions. So we divide the segments like that only. Pre-analytical area means by cargo system, once sample reached our system, means our laboratory, it will be start with what say each consignment will be shortlisted. Means each sample is barcoded, which means whatever the test need, whatever the patient need test, and whatever work order entry done by our TSPs and our client, everything available with our barcode. So once shorter read the barcode, it will segregate on that basis. If the sample is needed for the particular test, it will be go to the respective analyzer and the processing will happen.
As far as care is concerned, your customer should get the right value in the right time at the right cost. According to me, that's what is customers' expectations are. So we ensure that we have a good barcoded system, which is end-to-end barcoded, and then transported as per the procedures and tested as per the internationally recommended norms, and results are given. If you look at it, safety of the specimen data, all are as per what probably industry can deliver, fully automated, so that no one can do a mistake until they plan for it, and errors are minimized, and that is probably what a customer looks for.
In order to increase accessibility and ensure that preventive healthcare reaches your doorstep, Thyrocare started the Arogyam program, which is a bouquet of tests for a comprehensive health evaluation as part of preventive healthcare.
A country is said to be developed only if it does at least 50% preventive care. In 1995 in India, there was only 2% preventive care. I knew India has to go that way where world has already gone. So I thought I must create a brand and work rather than sitting and struggling for communication. Brand is communication, Thyrocare is communication, Arogyam is communication. Today, fortunately, we have 50% of the business coming only from Arogyam. Today, common man understands Arogyam is easy to tell. So he is a doctor nowadays. Instead of writing 10 tests in a line, he writes Arogyam. And today, I am known more as an Arogyam man than as a thyroid man.
Arogyam is the most popular preventive healthcare package, which gives about 70 tests in a budget that is light on the pocket. The option of home visits to collect samples makes it even more convenient for people to keep themselves fit.
Thyrocare services, I think since last 3 years I'm using it. This is the first time, after getting the report, this is the first time I have realized that I have an abnormal thyroid. And the services, the online services, the person, the B-Tech who come and collect, he give the proper guideline. And it's a good experience overall, and it's helped me to monitor my thyroid, and without a doctor specification, and no need to spend much more money. It always tracking quarterly basis, and it's helping me to track it better.
2 years back when I got myself tested, so I found out that I am deficient in vitamin D, and liver parameters were into an abnormal range. But after that I have been working on my diet plans and taking some precautionary measures. It has really helped me a lot because I didn't have to go anywhere or visit any center observing 10 to 12 hours fast. So they came at my home, drew my sample, and then shared my reports within 24 hours over the mail, and also they couriered the hard copies at my home within 48 hours. So it was quite easy for me as well, and hopefully means I would be able to continue this relationship with Thyrocare in the coming future years.
A centralized processing laboratory, IT-enabled, 24/7, fully automated, ensuring error-free processing of 60,000 specimens and over 250,000 clinical chemistry investigations every night. Thyrocare Technologies Limited is conscientiously working towards its goal of reducing lifestyle diseases through preventive care.
for 50% of the world population I want to serve, for 50% of their diagnostic needs at 50% of the current cost. So that remains today, and I think it is doable. If not me, my children should. If not we, somebody should. But the speed at which Thyrocare is growing, the clarity with which it is working, the focus in which it is enjoying, should be able to do at least thyroid test for 50% of the population in the world. So that remains, and that gets consolidated by each success step, and I must march towards that.
A medical fraternity that focuses all its energy towards expanding the gamut of healthcare to every citizen is what makes it the healthcare evangelist of India.